Okay, hi everybody. I'd like to welcome you today to this presentation. Thank you very much for joining us. This presentation is being hosted by Benham Reeves, and we have a very special guest, Eustace Coutinho from Barratt London. If I can just first start by introducing myself to you, my name is Brett Boyd. I work with Benham Reeves in our Cape Town office. And in a short while, Eustace will be joining us. He is our head of international sales for Middle East, India, and Africa from Barratt London. So the purpose of today's presentation is really just to introduce our companies to you, both of our companies, Benham Reeves and Barratt, and also to give you an insight into the benefits of buying an investment property in London. We're going to be going through a couple of specially selected developments that we currently have on offer. But maybe if I can first of all start by just telling you a little bit more about Benham Reeves, who we are and what we do for our clients. So if I can ask you to please move to the next slide. So Benham Reeves, if I can just say, is the largest, probably one of the largest independently owned estate agencies in London. We have been operating across the city for the last 65 years, since 1958. We have 21 branches within the M25, right across London. On top of that, we have 14 international offices in 11 countries around the world. So we have representatives in Asia, India, and the Middle East, as well as Africa. We are known as the London Investors Agent, as we manage literally thousands of properties for our clients. We offer a full service agency in London which offers sales, lettings, as well as property management. And we also have our own sister company called Install Direct, which assists with furnishing of our clients' properties. Because we deal with so many international clients, we assist them in getting the properties ready for their tenants. So we are very proud partners of Barratt London. Barratt London is the largest UK property developer, and they build more homes than anybody else in the UK. And thanks to our partnership, we're able to get exclusive pre-launch deals and discounts for our clients. Having the experience that we do in the city, we are able to offer the right properties for our clients, so they can get the very best yields and purchase properties in the right areas. We offer a full end-to-end solution for our clients. Sorry, if I can ask you to go to the next slide as well. The end-to-end solution, this starts right at the very beginning of the process, from getting your funds into the UK from your local destination, wherever that may be, and also assisting our clients in choosing the right structure to buy their property in, whether that be in their personal capacity or in a limited company. The end-to-end solution obviously involves the sourcing of the property, getting your funds into the UK, as I said, going through the purchasing process from reservation, going through the handover and snagging, getting your property furnished for your tenants, then going on from that to the day-to-day management of your property. You obviously get appointed a dedicated property management manager with our company. And then our accounts team also can assist you with your annual tax returns to HMRC. And then obviously, if you wanted to exit the market, you can. We have our sales team that can help you sell your property one day if that's something that you choose to do. So yeah, we are one of the very few companies that offer this full end-to-end solution, and we hold our client's hand right from the very beginning all the way to the very end. It's a full service that we offer. So if I can welcome Eustace to the presentation. Eustace, if you can take over and tell us a bit more about Barratt.
Well, thank you so much, Brett. Appreciate the warm welcome. And I'd like to welcome you all to the webinar today. Well, the whole purpose, like Brett said, the whole purpose of the webinar is just to give you a sort of a brief insight in who we are as Barratt London and Benham Reeves, and of course, to briefly highlight some of the projects that we've handpicked for you. So we at Barratt London truly believe that every individual deserves to own a good quality home with good access to central London. As a company, we have over 60 years experience in the business. We've delivered over 550,000 homes across the UK. We're listed on the stock market and we're valued over £4 billion in market cap. So as a home builder, we've won more awards than any other national developer. We've won 5-star ratings 14 years consecutively, and 96 Pride on Job awards, which is pretty much like the Oscars in the construction business. This is something we're extremely proud about. And we've also been recognized for delivering sustainable homes across the UK. A lot of our projects, including London, have solar panels. efficient lighting, reducing your monthly outgoing, thereby increasing your net yield. And all of you as investors, I'm sure you'd love this bit. So why buy from Barratt London? I get asked this question very, very often. Well, having been in the business for over 60 years, we've delivered beautifully designed homes with great quality. We're among the few that have attractive payment plans. It's a 1090 payment plan standard across all our projects, meaning all you need to pay is 10% within 45 days of reservation and the 90% on completion. Now, this is the dream for most investors because you're literally not locking too much of your capital into the property until the actual completion. And unlike most parts of the world where you pay 10% every 3 to 6 months, here it's as simple as 1090. We can try and get into more detail on this on our one-to-one meetings when we meet you virtually or in person. And lastly, we also understand that the cost of living in London is high. Hence, we work really hard to try and keep the service fee as low as possible. So why invest in a London property? Now, this is something I'm sure you ask yourself, and you have these conversations within your family as well, because the world is quite globalized today. And yes, we do have competition. But what I do like to highlight is I don't have a crystal ball to tell you about the future. What I can tell you is London as a market has seen an average of 9.5% growth year on year for the past 40 years. It's been very, very consistent. And given the fact we have an undersupply of residential homes, this is quite likely to increase over the next few years. London has world-renowned education. 70% of my clients, whether it's in India, Africa, or in the Middle East, tend to buy a property here because they intend to send their children to study, some of which are already studying in the UK. London has definitely one of the best public transport networks. A lot of people within our organizations and even senior people within the organizations don't even have a car because they don't need one, because we have a great bus network, a tube network, which I'm sure a lot of you have experienced already. And when it comes to entertainment, London attracts tourists pretty much all year round. It amazes me to see people here walking around in the peak of winter as well. And so now for the big question, why invest in London now? Well, I truly believe now is a good time to buy simply because prices are really competitive. Some developers have taken price action given the market circumstances, and you can achieve 6.5% rental yields, whereas a couple of years ago, this wasn't possible. So you can definitely get a good competitive price, a higher rental yield on your properties. Rental demand has been at its peak at the moment, given the undersupply of good quality residential homes. Interest rates are likely to slowly decline for those who are keen to leverage and get a mortgage. You can definitely benefit from early entry investments, like in some of our projects, which we will highlight today, like in Wembley, Sterling Place. You're literally buying into phase one of the development. And lastly, you also can benefit from long-term mega projects like Crossrail 2, which has been proposed, and you can benefit from early entry into some of our sites like we did at Hayes Village a couple of years ago. So I'd like to walk you through our business strategy. So on this map, you can see some of our projects that have been highlighted. And what they all have in common is they're all within a 5 to 7 minute walk to a tube station or a train station, getting you to central London in under 25 minutes. That's the core emphasis of our land team. We also factor in really good schools, good colleges in the neighborhood, because we truly believe that this is an important factor for you as an investor, regardless if you're buying it for your children or you're buying it as an investment. The better the schools, the quicker you rent your property out. And lastly, every single one of these projects has a beautiful story to tell, whether it's a Crossrail station coming up or has one of the largest reservoirs to a shopping center being within a 5-minute drive. Each one of our projects has a wonderful story to tell, driving your prices and rental return over the medium to long term. I would like to now hand you over to Leanne, who's with Benham Reeves. And I would like to lastly say we've literally handpicked some of the best projects which get you a good ROI, both in terms of rental and capital growth. Over to you, Leanne.
Thank you so much, Eustace. I'm going to start off with one of Barratt's latest launches, which is Sterling Place. This particular development is located 7 minutes from Wimbledon, and I know a lot of our clients that are based in South Africa really love this location. So it'd be a great opportunity to buy in one of the first phases. And then, of course, once future phases start to be released, you will get a lot of capital appreciation there as well. The predicted growth over the next 5 years is around 17%. Average rental yields, you're looking around 5.5%. They are also 3 stations within a 10-minute walk from this development. You can reach central London in under half an hour as well. With this being a new launch, there's a range of different bedroom sizes available. So there's 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments available, and the prices starting from 386,000. Could we move on to the next slide, please, Eustace? And I just wanted to show you the development in more of a bird's eye view. So this is going to be the development. This is where it's located. To the left-hand side is where the local school is, and just facing here is the local supermarket as well. So most of the apartments that are located here, they're non-obstructed. And of course, if you have apartments which are on this side, you will also get a lot of green space as well. Could we move on to the next slide, please, Eustace? Hayes Village is another amazing project from Barratt's. It's an amazing investment project. So it's the former Nestle factory, and there's been a range of new apartment blocks that have been built around this on the canal. There's been around 350 homes that have already been handed over. And in total, there would have been around 1,500 new homes, which will be completed on canal side living. Rental yields here have been amazing. We've rented a lot of apartments here, and the rental yield has been around 6.1%. And I suppose the big selling point for Hayes Village is that it's on the New Elizabeth Crossrail line, which means you're getting into central London a lot quicker than many Zone 2 locations. You will reach Bond Street in 24 minutes, which is amazing for a Zone 5 location. Could we move on to the next slide, please, Eustace? Hendon Waterside. This is one of Barratt's biggest regeneration schemes. It's really centrally located. It's 5 minutes away from Hendon Station. It's been a massive regeneration. So far, there have been 1,000 units that have been handed over in the last decade. And there's going to be 2,000 units in total that will get handed over. And it'll be completed within the next 8 years. So I suppose you pretty much know what you're getting. We're achieving amazing rental yields here of above 6%. When you go and see the site itself, you can actually see a number of apartments that are already completed here as well. And I suppose the biggest selling point here is there is a multi-million-pound regeneration at Brent Cross, which I will show you in the next slide. Could we move to the next slide, please, Eustace? So as you can see, it's facing one of the largest reservoirs. So a lot of clients that live here, they will go sailing or kayaking. So it's a really, really lovely location to live or for you to buy as an investment. And as you can see, just behind here is where the train station is. And then further to the right-hand side is where Brent Cross shopping centre will be as well. could we move on to the next slide, please, Yusuf? And last but not least, Wembley Park Gardens is a location in northwest London, which has worked really, really well for clients that are based in Kenya. It's conveniently located right next to the station. It's close to Box Park and the London designer shopping outlet. Around 75% of Pullman House, the first phase, has now almost sold out. So if you're looking for a 1 or a 2 bed in the first phase, I would highly recommend you reach out to one of us so we can look at some of the remaining units. There is a lot of construction that's going on in Wembley at the moment. So as you can see, over the past decade, there's been huge price growth, and that will continue to happen with how much construction is going on in Wembley as well. Monthly yields, you're probably looking around 5% and above, depending on your unit. And like I said, there is a handful of units left, and prices will start from £435,000. I'll show you exactly how close it's located to the station and to Wembley Stadium on the next slide. So here is the development, which is Pullman House, is the largest tower on the left-hand side, and directly next to it is the station. So it's around a 2-minute walking distance from Pullman House. And as you can see, the stadium is close proximity as well.
Well, thank you, Leanne. Just a couple of things I'd like to add on this slide here. So we've actually launched a couple of projects in the past at Wembley, and given the results we've had and the growth our customers have experienced, we've actually acquired another piece of land, and we've now launched Wembley Park Gardens. Well, this year was one of our first projects, which was close to the stadium. Our clients have seen a good 40% capital growth and very consistent rental yields. Our second launch through COVID, in fact, was number 10 Walking Road, this building right here on the left. But I personally believe this year is going to be a fabulous project, simply because you're literally a 1-minute walk to the station. And people in London, the closer you are to a station, the quicker you are likely to sort of rent your property out as well. For those of you all who haven't been to Wembley, this here is a beautiful boulevard that connects you all the way to the stadium. So you have cafes and restaurants on either side. You have the Novotel Hotel here. You have the Hilton Hotel. You have the Outlet Shopping Center here, which is a smaller version of the village where you have discounted items, and you have so much to do in this neighborhood, and it's got modern infrastructure pretty much everywhere you go across Wembley Park. So I'd like to close by saying that yes, well, first of all, thank you for your time today. And I look forward to meeting you all in person. I have to admit, I personally love traveling to Africa, not just because you have good weather. Well, the people tend to be really warm and kind as well. And I look forward to meeting you all in person. If you do have questions, please type it into the chat box. We can cover a few now. And I would like to add to say that if you want to have a detailed conversation with us prior to me traveling to Africa, request for a phone call or a Zoom call with myself. I'm happy to dedicate 30 minutes to 60 minutes where we can cover everything of the project of your choice and get into a bit more detail as well. Today, like I said, was a brief overview. And lastly, if you need us to introduce you to a mortgage advisor or a solicitor, we're happy to do so, who can guide you to the rest of the buying journey as well. So in the chat box, I do see a couple of questions come through. Let's pick one to begin with. So what are the average rental yields you can achieve in some of your projects, and which areas deliver the highest rental yield? Well, that's a really good question. We get asked this a lot. Being one of the largest home developers, as you've seen in the map, we have quite a few to choose from. But we have shortlisted some of the best projects we currently have from a good rental perspective and a capital growth perspective. To answer your question, you can achieve anything from 4.9 to 6.5, depending on which project you pick. We can get into this in a bit more detail when we speak one-to-one. But like I said, having right now is definitely a good time to buy because we are offering pretty good incentives in terms of the price, hence leading to a higher rental yield. To give you an example, we recently rented a one-bedroom at one of our projects, Hendon Waterside, at 1,900. Not ourselves, but one of our investors rented a one-bedroom for 1,900 per month, achieving 6.1% rental yields. This being a Zone 3 location, it's fantastic. So the next question we have is, can you tell us a bit more about the buying process? Well, that's a brilliant question, and I'm happy to do so. So once you've shortlisted a project, you then select a unit. We are happy to recommend a couple of plots based on your investment goals. Once you've selected a unit, we send you a verification link where you take a selfie of yourself, answer a few questions. And once that's completed, you need to take a picture of your passport as well. Once the verification is completed, you then pay a reservation fee of £1,000 or £2,000, depending on which site you choose. You then instruct your solicitors within 24 to 48 hours, who then guides you through the rest of your buying process. Our team and the Barratt team and Benham Reeves are happy to guide you as well if you ever need any support with the buying process, because I would imagine it can be quite different as compared to your home ground. For the next question we have, can we get a mortgage and can you help us with this? Well, to answer the question, yes, and this is a very good one because I get asked this question very often. As an international customer, not a resident of the UK, you can get a mortgage, and yes, we can help you by introducing you to a broker, one preferably who specializes in your region as well, who can support you virtually or in person. Quite often at our events, we tend to bring a mortgage advisor with us so you can meet them in person as well. Typically, how it works, the broker gets in touch with you and they do something known as a pre-qualification call where they ask you a couple of questions. You then get pre-qualified. You need to obviously share your documents, your bank statements, and based on this, you then know your affordability, which then makes our life a lot easier as well. So we can then advise you on a couple of options. And let's pick one more question before we wind up. So why are South Africans buying in London? Well, to answer your question, we've definitely seen a surge recently. I've read a report as well, which states close to 500,000 South Africans have now moved on to countries like the UK, Australia, and the US. And the feedback I generally get from my clients is they want to diversify. While they still own their homes in South Africa, some prefer to diversify as it's not ideal to put all your eggs in one basket. Investors also like to hedge against the pound because it tends to outperform currencies globally. And generally, London is viewed as a safe haven for investments due to its political stability, strong legal framework, and it's generally considered to be a mature financial market as well. And like I said previously, we're happy to dive into more questions as we go on. And if you have any more questions, I'm happy to do a one-on-one call with yourself ahead of our meeting in Kenya and South Africa. So it was a pleasure to have you all, and I look forward to meeting you in person. A big thank you to the Benham Reeves team for organizing this as well. Thank you, guys.
Thanks very much for helping Eustace with attending.
Thanks, Eustace.